Good evening, YouTube. Been number 3 down here in the Carolinas. And I done redone my bench again, the top part of it anyways. Rest of the bench the same. A little dirty, but it ain't too bad. What we got up on the bench is a 1x4. And I don't know exactly who built it. It's got Whoop-Ass Industries on the front of it. But when it came in, oh, this amp's for Amos Johnson, by the way. When this amp come in, the whole board here was set back about this far from the back, so the air and these holes was all open. Set of holes down through here too, just like them, and the air couldn't wrap around the heat sink and go out. It would just flow directly out those sets of holes. So we fixed that, slid it back, put it where it's supposed to go. It's got a little bit of a gap in there, but not enough to really hurt anything and let anything by. So, and the heat sink's a little lifted off the board too. So it's going to have good airflow up underneath it. And it had this in it. 7-to-1 on the input, 3-to-1 on the output. The variable wasn't sufficient enough for it. We put a good Allen Bradley in it. The relays in it was a little too little. It depends on who you ask, but the 5-amp relays, but either or, they was laid way over to the side and had the horrible feed through, because it had to go through this from here to there to get through it, and it was horrible. A few of the caps had changed out. The 1000s that was right there was done devalued. The input had 4 wraps, the output had 5 wraps. I got it back to 3 and 3. The 2-pill section was fine, but the cap was bad, done devalued. So put this cap, that cap, that cap, that cap, that cap, and the output cap. Redone all those. It didn't have no Class C chokes on it, so put them on it. It was soldered directly to the board. And pulled that up and put some Class C chokes on it, and put the choke in the back, bleeder resistor to knock it down when they turn the power off. Turn the power on. Plugged up now. Turn the power on, and then without a bleeder resistor in it, you could just turn it off and it would just set that idle at 21 volts. And now it goes down pretty quick, about 20 seconds time it's down, maybe 15 seconds. But if it was the way I designed it, to be completely different, because you had bridge rectifiers on the side, same side the heat sink, the same heat sink the pills, so I would have separated that. But this is just the guy just got this box and wanting to get it back up and going. They want to spend a lot of money in it, and I can see that, so I'm putting it together where it should last. But like I said, I just don't, that's just not my style of doing things. But I can't just come over here and do what I need to do and charge a guy for it, you know what I'm saying? I just make it as good as I can get it, and let him decide. But it's good. So we'll turn it on. Stock Cobra 29. 1000-watt slug. That's my 5-watt slug in reverse going back up this meter here. It shows reflect back towards the radio. And with this bench here, I've kind of switched things around. I got these two radios, a switch box, comes down to my well, it goes up to the 2-pill. I got a 2-pill in line now. It ain't on, but it goes 2 radios, switch box through the 2-pill, comes back through the line section. Line section, that's for the reflect. Line section goes down, goes into the amp, input side of it. Output side goes out, goes up, goes to this dual line section, and then that's these 2 meters. 50-watt slug in reverse, back from the antenna. This is on the antenna. 1000-watt slug in forward, and the P kit is not on. Like I said, this is stock radio. Pick up the mic for it. Amp is on. Audio. About 1/4 of a watt. Reflect, which is pretty good with this kind of power. This is the RMS. Audio. About 300. Turn the peak kit on. Audio. About 950. It's like 950 to 1000. Audio. Doing real good. And there you go. It's all up and going. Doing like it's supposed to, and now the air will flow out like it's supposed to. Got all this crap out there. This this paper, believe it or not, right there. But and the wire wasn't even Teflon. The wire will burn up. Hard to do this with one hand. You got to hold it to it pretty good. This has got some kind of. Anyways, that's a piece where I'm burnt. Burnt through the wire right there. I mean, it will take some heat, but it ain't like Teflon. Teflon, you can sit on that all day long. Some of the wires was Teflon in it, like this one's Teflon. And that one's Teflon, but this one ain't. This wire was Teflon. All this was Teflon, but the ones running through the output and input transformers was not. So, changed that, got all Teflon wire on the board. Changed the 3/16 coax. It wasn't long enough, stuck because I slid it back. I had to put a new piece on it. But there you go. I rewrapped the output of the 2290. This is all Toshibas, and one of the Toshibas was bad, and I had to put another one in it. So to recap, I've put a new 2879 in it, new output cap, new bleeder resistor, new key up circuit, rewound this, rewound that, rewound that, rewound that, rewound that, the inputs and outputs. This was loose, got that good and tight. Put a new ground on it, didn't even have a ground on this ground. It had, believe it or not, was this little piece of wire here. There's only this ground on it. Which, you know, it's got a ground going from the cap over to the bridge rectifiers, but that was the only ground it had. Was that piece of 14 gauge wire. So we come off the cap here, went there. But like I said, we just got it up and going. It's doing pretty good. Voltage drop on it for 21 volts is down to about 16. But she's ready. Appreciate the business, Amos Johnson. Have a good one. Number 3 in the Carolinas. Later.